Nigeria Customs Service and 2 of its personnel to pay 400 million naira as damages on assault charge. Nigerian Shippers Council forged memorandum of understanding between the Bureau of Public Enterprises and terminal operators. Shippers Group celebrates dedicated staff at a long service award. My name is Afan Tokadi Collins. You are welcome to your weekly turning Portgist and Event on TV. Portgist and Event on TV is your weekly program where we give you news in the maritime industry, aviation sector as well as our land border. Don't go away. The issue of concessioning of our seaport has generated a lot of controversies in the maritime industry and has become a contentious issue. Many Nigerians believe that there is no eureka in the service providers of the various terminal operators, while others believe that value-added service has actually been rendered in the issue of delivery of services, particularly as it relates to cargo clearance in our seaport. Hence, this made the Minister of Transport, Senator Idris Umar, to set up a committee to look at the progress on the issue of various concessionaires of our seaport. Concessioning of the seaport, has it been a success? What has Nigerians actually derived on this issue? Recently, the committee visited the Nigerian Shippers Council, where Mrs. Shaloma actually dealt on the issue of the memorandum of understanding between the BPE and these various terminal operators, that this was actually shrouded in secrecy, and that many terminal operators are actually charging Nigerians spurious charges and illegal charges. Hence, the committee has a lot of work to do as per taking this issue to federal government.
They are here to request information from you as stakeholders in the following areas. They would want to examine the concession agreement signed with the terminal operators and determine whether or not there is need for a review, and then make recommendations in that regard. They would also want to find out from you, as industry players, a critical dissective evaluation of the performance of the concessionaires within the terms of the concession agreement and their effectiveness in cargo handling and delivery. It is also pertinent to mention that they would want you to join in that assessment the Nigerian Ports Authority, who is supposed to be responsible for the implementation of the concession agreement, and determine the factors that inhibit the realization of the objectives of the concession. Then you can give, while you are making your inputs, suggestions on the way forward with regards to the concession of the Nigerian ports, and then any other thing that you want to offer.
She also spoke on the issue of why our ports were concessioned, and that there was no legal framework on the issue of the memorandum of understanding between the BP and these various terminal operators.
Nigerian Shippers Council is now making its submission. And like I said, the raison d'etre of ports is an economic logistics center that creates maritime access, that creates a maritime interface, because the ports are actually linear entities in the value chain, and also creates an efficient inland distribution, because without that you can't have maritime access. You can have accessibility to the water, but like I said, there will be a disequilibrium, which means the functioning of the land side is not at par with the functioning of the seaside. A port needs larger container berths. It needs deeper alongside access, specialized port equipment, sophisticated workflows and workstations that are supported by software programs, so that the inefficiencies we had registered before the concessioning would not be there after the concessioning. And an enabling environment which is conducive to creating value-added services within and adjoining the ports themselves. Then, like I said, accessibility, channelization. The portsman is here. Channelization and the land side. We are supposed to lead this discussion as Nigerian Shippers Council, so we took the liberty to prepare some guides that would help us to actually articulate our positions today. What are the gaps in the concession process? We have looked and critically reviewed the process leading to the concessioning of the Nigerian ports. And we wish to observe that ab initio the process was devoid of a sound legal framework. This is as a result of some flaws in the concession agreements entered into, and such flaws would include: 1, the neglect of the statutory roles of the Nigerian Shippers Council. I might be selfish in insisting that that is the first issue that is on the table for consideration today. The NSC, as an agency that is statutorily charged with regulating charges in the nation's shipping industry, was neither invited to participate nor consulted in drawing up the concession agreement. And like I said, the service that the port renders is to the ship and to the cargo. And the port is resting, and the maritime sector is resting on a tripod: the port, the ship, and the cargo. If the port is doing anything that the ship and the cargo is not aware of, you know that the entire tripod is limping. That was what happened. The entire sector was not consulted. But we are the ones that are responsible for port tariffs and rates, negotiating local shipping charges and publishing such charges.
The chairperson of the committee, who also doubles as a legal advisor to the Federal Ministry of Transport, spoke on the mandate before the committee and why the committee was actually set up by the federal government. Mrs. Ngozi J. Prince.
Government, in realization of the fact that maritime is a huge investment of government, that after petroleum, maritime is the next in terms of revenue earning for government, decided that we should optimize all the areas. And concession has been one of the areas that we think we need to do something about, to look at the issues. Like Shippers Council has given us a lot of areas of observation. We also feel that you will have areas that you want us to discuss with. But first of all, let me go back to the terms of reference and tell you what we are supposed to do. The first term of reference is to examine the concession agreement signed with the terminal operators and determine whether or not there's need for a review, and recommend where necessary the reviews to be carried out. The second one is to evaluate the performance of the concessionaires within the terms of the concession agreement and their effectiveness in cargo handling and delivery. Third one is to evaluate the performance of the Nigerian Ports Authority in the implementation of the concession agreement with regular remittances of revenue. The fourth one is to determine the factors that inhibit the realization of the objectives of the concession. The fifth one, to advise government on the way forward with regards to the concession of the Nigerian Ports Authority and any other matter that is incidental to the assignment of the committee. We have examined the concession agreement. We have discussed with other operators, MPA, and visited, not just discussion, we have visited all the different terminal operators in Lagos, Port Harcourt, Warri, and Calabar.
Various stakeholders were present during this committee's briefing and spoke extensively on the issue of the various terminal operators' service delivery procedure, and that most of these terminal operators are actually charging Nigerians spurious and illegal charges which nobody has actually challenged, and also that there was no or there is no service sufficiency in the issue of terminal operators, and that while was this terminal's concession, Nigerians need to reap the dividends of democracy, and this has not been the case in the issue of port concessioning. The issue of port concessioning to most of them is like what Watarodin said about Africa when they talk about partitioning of Africa. It was done among Nigerian elites. Hence, Nigerians, the downtrodden Nigerians, are not actually reaping the fruit of democracy as it relates to concessioning of our seaport. The National President of National Agency of Government Approved Freight Forwarders, Mr. Ejunweke, who was part of these stakeholders, spoke extensively on this issue. And Mr. Ben Indi, the National Secretary of National Council of Managing Director, they all have this to say.
Nigeria is signatory to what we call TRIPS, Trade-Related Investment It's an agreement. Under these TRIPS, it says that TRIPS removes the power, the creative power of foreign investors in the nation. That is one. Nigeria is signatory to BIT, Bilateral Investment Treaty. In this wise, it says local content requirements should be removed from the host country, like Nigeria. Foreign exchange requirements should be removed from the host country. I now ask myself, where you have removed foreign export requirements, you remove foreign exchange requirements from the country, host country, and have them do rely yourself in articulating a port concession or privatization agreement. Because that is where we got it wrong. If you say APABPE is mindful of the fact that prior to the institution or concession program, there were bonded terminals that were to serve as an outer port, so that a port must be seen to be a transit area, where we should be transited to bonded terminal for proper customer examination. Because of security reasons, our importation is prone to 70%, 100% examination. These are issues that should be taken into consideration at the issue. Against this background, madam, if, for instance, MPA haven't given license for the terminals, and you are not articulating a port concession contract, and you excluded these people, let's keep aside the amount invested. Then, of what level of efficiency are you prepared to inject into the port under a concession arrangement, where you have not invited some of these people and made it mandatory by way of protection? That's what's called local content requirement. That yes, we want to concession our port, but for you to take this port, so terminal should be served as a terminal. So what can connect this operation with there? That was alluded.
Take this, you chief Okoko, take this, you this Inyang, take this. That is what happened to our port right before us. Present stealing, all in the name of politics. Please go back and tell government, tell our president that the port users are crying and their patience is waning. Our patience is waning. We no longer can take this. This is our collective patrimony. Some people shared it, all in the name of concessioning. Where are the people from Masquerade? Where are the people from Hoplite? Where are those people? I want them to be here. Let me speak. What they are doing in this country cannot happen in this small banana republic called Benin Republic. It can't happen there. But right before us, these people come here, they give you debit note, you pay. Apart from paying, the next day they increase it arbitrarily to whatever level they want. Nobody questions them. No regulator. I was even thinking that what should be of primary concern to Shippers Council presently should be to garner support and become a regulator, if only they have the wherewithal and the strength to be fair. Because corruption has crept in the past, whereby most of us that speak in the open, they say, which association do you belong? Is it ANACA? Is it National Council? Is it NAGAF? Tomorrow they start with chanting our members in the field for being bold enough to speak up. But this time it will not work. We are only restraining our members, and enough is enough. This stealing must stop. Question them. You can't even access a so-called management team. You just can't. Exactly. The last time there was visitation in the port, I was part of that entourage.
The recent raid, which was carried out by the member of Federal Operation Unit of Nigerian Customs Service at Tinkan Island Port, is actually generating a lot of controversies. Mr. Gidiola Gani, who was intimidated, harassed, and assaulted, has actually taken his case before the judiciary, where he's actually suing Nigerian Customs Service and two of his personnel to the tune of 400 million naira for personal assault and damage on him. So also we have various complaints from licensed custom agents and freight forwarders on the likelihood of going to court to seek redress on the fact that their fundamental human rights were trampled upon. We also look at the issue of extension of the various service provider by the federal government. The extension, is it a welcome idea by licensed custom agents or stakeholders? Or what is your opinion to the issue of extension? Is it actually going to help Nigerian Customs Service to achieve the pre-arrival assessment report which the service is likely to introduce in the next few months? Mr. Osi Gold, who is a member of the ASEAN Nigerian Licensed Custom Agent, and Sir Chief Osita Chukwu, the National Coordinator of Coalition of Save Nigeria, they all have different opinion on this issue.
Should be paying 1% CISS, and that 1%, after that 1% they are taking, they still say that on advisory role. Why when you come, still query the same job they treated, and after either they got more or high or less. So it's not something that somebody can continue to maybe petting or something that somebody can continue to say, I don't know about it. Everybody knows. It's only best known to the ministry that kept them all this while. We lamented and lamented that they should not extend their services, and that was why the customs were all out there to go for the course. So if now customs said the whole courses they went, none land what they have gone for, and then they should come out plain and say it, than keeping them there, and then as we continue keeping them, is not giving us any room for our economy to boost, because one container is being cleared for 1 month here. It's not supposed to be so. One container. Before you get one container. Talking of those who have a fleet of containers. If you have fleet of containers, how do you do it? So a lot of things. It's better let us even go on physical and forget about it. Let us do it like Togo and Ghana and Cotonou does their own. We go on physical examination and create a very big bay where everybody will put that container, and they now examine it 100% of whatever.
I commend customs, the new custom management. They are trying. It is not from custom side. Our problem is this service providers. I don't know whether that has been sold. I believe we are independent, but as far as I'm concerned, we are not independent. We are still dependent. How can people take decision on us? If you go to a shipping company, it will take them 3-4 days to give you the video to go and pay, and it's demurrage accruing at your expense. If you go to all this terminal AP Mola, the same thing. So I don't think they should be asked to go. In fact, a dead MPA, a hospitalized MPA is better than a presidency AP Mola and the shipping company. They are just exploiting this country. They're just exploiting us. They're not doing anything tangible to help the situation.
Okay, in your own words now, this say the extension is justified or?
It's not justified. The extension is, in fact, as a corrupt people extended it. They have been settled to extend it. They have no reason to extend it. They have no reason. They have no reason. They have interest, that's why they extended it. They don't have any reason to extend it.
The world has indeed become a commercial global village. Nigeria, the West Coast and South Africa have become every shipper's destinations of delight. To meet this growing need, we present the CFAX Group of Companies, a maritime one-stop shop with subsidiaries on the West Coast, London and Texas, USA. With our well-trained and courteous staff, high-tech cranes, stick-dooring services, haulage trucks with mileage across Nigeria and abroad, and our utility bonded terminals, we are indeed Nigeria's leading cargo handlers. CFAX Group of Companies, our team work with innovation.
Ports and Cargo has commenced the new operations for customs examination. Ports and Cargo has been able to put in place examination of cargo between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. daily to meet the 48-hour delivery of cargo as stipulated by the federal government. So with this arrangement, if you're booked between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m., your container will be positioned for examination by 12 noon. And if you book between 12 p.m. and 2 p.m., your container will be positioned for examination by 2 p.m. So we're calling on agents to use this opportunity to get their cargo released on time.
The Skyway Aviation Handling Company Limited, a member of the CIFAS Group, is a reputable aviation handling company that provides a well-structured, value-added, customer-friendly passenger handling services. We offer first-class ramp handling services. Our cargo handling services is famed for an impressive record of consistent efficiency as tons of freight are handled daily with operational ease. Other services include aviation security, baggage reconciliation to ensure safety of passengers' baggage. We also operate charter flight operations. At the Skyway Aviation Handling Company Limited, SACOR, we make a lasting and favorable impression on passengers and invariably our clients.
On CIFAS update today, even though Nigerians believe that the issue of port concession is not a success as it was expected to be, it was unanimously agreed that port and cargo handling service is however a success, despite these hitches here and there. Port and cargo handling service is an indigenous company owned by Nigerians and is involved in the issue of cargo clearance, cargo handling operations in our seaport, particularly Tinkan Island Port. This was actually said recently at a fora at Nigerian Shippers Council, where the Presidential Committee to look into the issue of memorandum of understanding between the Bureau of Public Enterprises and the terminal operators. This was stated by the National President of NAGAV, Mr. Eugene Uweke.
In Ghana, both of them were concessioning it. What they did was to look at this, the track record of this thing, and brought in Borode Port and AP standards, managed together. The government limited 30%, while giving 70% to them. In this country, Nigeria, virtually all our ports have been concessioned. There's no one reserved for both of the government and competition. Why? In Great Britain, out of 264 ports, 164 was packaged for concession, the 100 by the government. In India, 162 or thereabouts, 100 was packaged for concession. Why must we give up the whole of our ports under concession agreement? Because of what the transport investment. DPE, I've already said it to them. The oldest great country, in fact, every day apology. They never did their job very well. The concession 2006, to me, was targeted towards electing certain Nigerians and not for the benefit of this country, the matter of this country.
CIFAS group of companies had a long service award recently where some of the staff that have worked in the company in the last 10 years were recognized and awarded. This event was anchored by the group head corporate affairs, Mr. Oliver Omajuwa, presented Dr. Afolabi, the vice chairman of CIFAS group of companies.
For long service award, the way I understand it and the way Dr. Afolabi understands it is a celebration of commitment, celebration of excellence, celebration of painstaking, celebration of happiness when it's time to celebrate happiness, and celebration of challenges as well. Because we all know that even though these people have spent 10 years, definitely in 10 years they must have gone through a lot. They must have crossed a lot of hurdles. They must have put in a lot in terms of meritorious service, which is why it is just appropriate to acknowledge their efforts today. And the 3D, as Dr. Phil had explained to us, I just want the awardees to stand up, please, if you don't mind. Yes. Is it possible to just echo the 3D according to Dr. Phil, which are the watchwords in the organization?
Well, you've gone through their profile and you had a DD has been talking about the 3Ds, the need for diligence, the need for decency, and the need for discipline.
you have to be hardworking. Hardworking pays. Like I said when we're presenting this program, hard work pays. Don't look at others who feel they can achieve success through crooked means. We have seen it with our Super Eagles, and you are seeing with our company. I'm sure a lot of other companies are also rewarding hard work. Like you had, the AD admin also spoke about it, that not only long service will be rewarded, also people who have achieved in their different units will be rewarded. I say once again to His Excellency, Barrister Dr. Taiwo Olayinka Afolabi MON, may God continue to be with him and his entire household, and that everything he lays his hands on will continue to prosper in Jesus' name. Amen.
This is how we're going to go on today's program, Portgist and Red on TV. Until next week, we'll give you fresh dish at Come Away. Until then, bye.